And in this fight scene, I try to recreate for you some complex video animation using characters, icons, and titles. And some built-in After Effects so you can achieve this nice slimy look. And we will look how to add your logo or geometry on top of characters and how to use pieces of the moves to recreate the new moves that you might need in this pixel art, but I didn't pre-build it straight away. And first let's see that I used usual setup rig from the previous tutorial. I parented all to the one null object, and this stored the position of the character inside of it. Yellow one is the right one and blue one is the left one. And I hid all the necessary object and background stuff inside this icon, and I just scaled up the city background to recreate this fighting scene. And to add this geometry, I simply created a placeholder for it, so I can now just drag some logo and it will work. For example, we will use the usual Envato logo type. I will scale it up, shift it. On the place of the star, I will draw a garbage mask. And this is immediately switched. And what you will need to do is create this placeholder, then create the setup rig, and then drop it down, scale it to the place you need, and parent it to the null object as well. And you will see that it still has some animation. So this has limitations that some of the moves are closing the place you might need to use your logo. So you need to create some toggle hold keyframes where you shut down the opacity of this layer. And here you see that his body is shifted up and down, and usually it comes every 4th frame. So you will have to create first keyframe, toggle hold of the position, then go 4 keyframes, create new one, then just Ctrl C and just simply start to draw one cycle of the animation, and then you can simply find the starting point of this and just Ctrl C, Ctrl V all this animation to the next part of this animation, and it will work and it will be infinite, and it's still pretty simple. But as I said, you have some limitations, but you can work with it. And you can add your own custom geometry. And as a side part, you might want to use the change color to effect. We will find it. And for example, on this guy, I want to quick change of color of this mask. So I need to choose the red color, then set it to hue, lightness and saturation, and you will see it grabs a lot of the colors. But if we set a pretty low value, you will see that it changes only the red one, but it grabs all of the layers. So if you have something other red, it will grab it as well. But now you can simply change the color that you need to another one, and when you start duplicating your layer, it will store this effect and it will connect to it. So if you want to have control, you can duplicate the layer, you can Alt left click on this layer and then parent it to the previous one. And if you have a complex animation, you will still have a one layer control of the color of this mask. This is some tips of the small changes that you might want to have, and don't need to re-render all the sequence of the one man. And I recommend you to study how I recreated these fighting moves. So basically what I used is 2-3 frames of the animation of different parts. For example, dance move. Here some on top I use searching fight and handshake right, so it feels like it has a kick or punch. And usually all you need in the game to get a feedback is 2-3 frames of the action, so you can feel that this is the fight scene. So look inside of this project, study, and you will see all the techniques that you will need to create this your own fight scene. And still, if you need some more advanced tutorials, you struggle with something, be sure to write me down and I will create more tutorials and will look how to advance and improve my pixel art kit. So see you guys next update.